know, sometimes the artistry of people we've had on the show previous just astounds us because we come back and we get updates and we find out what's happening with the people who make the state such a great place to live and visit and appreciate. With us is Mitch Billiter again. Mitch,
partner, how
it's
you
a pleasure
doing?
seeing you again.
Yes,
and
sir.
Last time we saw you, were you in the Forest Lake area with your wheel and bringing out some beautiful stoneware pottery?
You know, it's been so long, it's like the primitive days.
I know, it's back at the old days, but you've come a long way. We're at a motel in the Tawas City area, and what you have here is an accomplishment that many artists dream of, and that is a mural. Tell us a little bit about your project here.
It was finally a dream come true. I had an opportunity. I met a very nice couple, Walt and Karen Holden here, that he actually drew up the designs. He built the place, bought the franchise, and started his own little resort business here in Tawas. And it gave me an opportunity to do something that I've wanted to do for quite some time. I wanted to do something aquatically correct. Basically all the Michigan fish, and I call it the spring feast. Because basically, this is the way it is here in these waters, Oscoda, Tawas area in the spring. You know, the guys are all eating the bait fish, and I've got the trout going after the smelt and the smallmouth and the walleye eating up on some perch.
Oh boy.
Got the northern and the largemouth going after some bluegills.
And I tell you what, this is a great kind of plug for the Tawas Bay area, and this is pretty true to the fact that we do have all these fish in the
Isn't it? It's a wonderful fishery in this area.
Yeah. This must have been a labor of love for you, because you have the opportunity to go from one fish to the next and to the next, and not just kind of stay on one fish.
Do you know what's really bizarre about this is that I didn't really realize until I got into it. Mother Nature called the shot on this, totally.
Really?
It's the wood. It is the driftwood. And you probably remember Joe Lathrop.
Oh,
he
sure,
did a story
yes.
quite some time ago.
Yes, the art tables.
He and I, we kind of get our chainsaws out and we go stump hunting. And he takes the bigger ones for his tables, and I get the ends and pieces that he's been throwing away for years. We happened to find some bigger pieces where I could get 16-inch centers to hit the studs on the wall to hold the weight. And then, of course, you know, like I said, Mother Nature calls the shots. I had to design the fish for the wood. You know, so the first thing you do, it's kind of backwards. You get the wood first, and then I sculpted out the fish to match, you know, for the aesthetics of the scenery, you know, to make it all happen.
All happened with all Michigan wood, all Michigan fish models, more or less. But these pieces of driftwood were found on the shores of Lake Huron?
Actually not. Joe had met them, a nice couple farmers over by Alma area that were going to bulldoze some old fence rows. And it's from the logging days. That fence row is approximately 120 years old. Obviously, the stumps are a lot older than that.
Tell me, how did you go about doing it? What was your first step? You had it in your eye, or how did you do it? Did you do it one step at a time and just progress and see where it takes you, or did you have it in one line?
What happened here, I've wanted to do maybe the commercial application, to do these big three-dimensional mural type commercially for a while. And basically, Walt had me over, and I took a look at what he had, and that gave me, and I've been back and forth a couple times looking again, but then it was finding the wood. And it just happened, if I find the right pieces, I thought, well, this is how it can go, and it kind of went together like a puzzle. And by golly, it worked.
Well, all those days of fishing has given you input too. You know pretty much the habitat and what.
Well, that gave me an excuse to come over here.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about, you know, last time we saw you, you were working in Stoneware pottery, and you had to work really fast. But now you're doing another different process, aren't you? I mean, it's a chance to really let your creativity shine, right?
Oh, and I do love the fisheries in this state, and basically I keep forcing myself to do the glaze experiments to get the different color hues. Yeah, and it's basically, it's a lot more fun than sitting on a wheel and throwing a cylinder.
So it brings out the sculpture in you more or less. Yeah. So you plan on doing many more things of this sort?
You know,
this a new avenue?
This is very labor intensive. The whole project was. Basically, I'm thinking I'll be able to do one or two of these a year.
Really?
As far as, because of course I'm still doing the the street art shows in the summer, and that keeps me awful busy.
Yes. Could you tell us what type of fish are on there once again? Just tell them what...
Basically, the bottom piece would be the bluegills, and that's even got a white bass there. Got the northern pike, and you see, when I say aquatically correct spring feast, the pike's got a bluegill in his mouth. That's just the way it is here in the fisheries. But get the largemouth, and then the trout kind of went together. I have the 5 basic ones. I have a great big trophy brown trout. I have a king salmon, and the lake trout with the smelt in his mouth. And of course we have the steelhead and a really nice brook trout over there. And then on the top we have the walleye, the smallmouth, and a rock bass going after the perch.
Oh boy, that is amazing.
And that's what they do.
Like you said, you are also involved in shows throughout the year, so if people wanted to get in touch with you, they can come on over here to the Days Inn and see your work here, but also you're on the road quite a bit.
Oh, it's like a weekend gypsy job. I tell you, it's very enjoyable. You meet a lot of nice people. You know, one of the things that I had been thinking about getting into lately is I volunteer a little bit of my time at my daughter's school in Sterling, Michigan, and I've been taking in pottery clay for 5-6 years. And what the educators, the teachers, and even get some word back from the parents and also the students is, as an educational tool, it's almost like underutilized in the schools. Clay can be used for educational purposes no matter what subject you are, and I can go from kindergarten right on up. What I'm actually thinking about doing is I would like to create a educational video via the pottery for educators, parents, students themselves. The thing that really warms my heart is I'll sit there and I'll talk to some of the teachers, and after I leave the classroom, the kids didn't want to go out for recess. They'd rather sit there and play with the clay. And the kids that maybe sit back in the corner, that 1 or 2 children in the classroom that just don't exhibit any enthusiasm about school itself or anything, and I bounce in there with some clay, and it's the best day of their life, and it's like it has an effect, and I'm thinking about actually doing some type of educational.
That's a great idea. There's a niche that has got to be filled. We're looking at a mural here, but you also have some work above the cashiers. Let's take a look at that now.
Okay, great.
While we viewed more of Mitch's work along the walls of the inn, we again were struck by the cooperation that existed between Mitch and the motel management in bringing to guests of the motel a true life feeling of the area's essence. A theme of Michigan's inspiration intentionally sought by the owners, who Mitch eagerly introduced us to in the lobby.
This is the mastermind of the whole complex.
Okay.
It's Walt Holdenberg.
Walt, it's a pleasure meeting you, and we had a beautiful Days Inn here in Tawas City, Michigan. Tell us how you two got together and you decided to bring the essence of fishing springtime in Michigan here.
Well, we do a lot of craft shows in this area, and if you notice, if you looked around our room through here, we have a lot of crafts that fit the area that we're in for fishing, because Tawas is noted for their good fishing, the walleye, perch, just any kind of fish that they want up in this area. So we happened to be at one of the craft shows, and we had noticed his work, and my wife had, and came back and said, geez, there's an awful nice fish there, and he says, can you go look at it? So my wife had gone first, and then we came back, and later in the afternoon I went down and looked at it, and his artwork is extremely nice, so we bought the pieces and did the items over top of the check-in stations.
Right.
We put that up there first, and then we went back down and told him, I says, if you get a chance, come down and take a look at this wall up through here, because it's a big wall up in our vaulted counter breakfast area. Maybe we could do something there and tie it into what we're doing out here in the fish area.
So
that's how that started out.
Isn't that great? And what we see in the lobby here is pretty much essence of Michigan. I mean, from the artist and the mural here and everything, it just kind of makes people feel comfortable about what we have here in the Tawas Bay area. And I understand that he was telling me that you can get all these fish here in Tawas. Is that true?
Yes, all the fish can be caught here. Yes.
Oh, is this something that we can pretty much depend on?
It's different sections of the year. We're in the process of repainting the place. When we get done, this will be a bottom of the lake will be painted there to match what we're doing with the fish.
Great.
So maybe we might want to come down and redo it as a feature where everything's back into it. But we're in the process of repainting, and that's why we didn't go outside the circle yet until we can get it, because they're upstairs painting now. and then they'll finish down here, and then we'll be back in.
Oh boy! So you've got a lot. The motel here hasn't been here that long. I mean,
No, we were in here 9 months.
9 months. You got your first anniversary coming up, not too
March
yeah.
22nd.
Great. And this is really a really comfortable motel because you can see what's happening outside, and there's so much to do in the area.
It's always great to be able to revisit those artists we've featured before on Michigan Magazine with updates on the wonderful progress they're making in spreading the word of their talent and artistry. Mitch Billiter, artist and now Michigan educator of Rifle River Pottery in Alger, Michigan.